Hello again, everybody. This is Transposition Sports, the first for 2025. I'm Carly Chardonnay Webb. And right up front, a friend of the show and someone we really like, Sadie Schreiner, sprinter at Rochester Institute of Technology, on the short list of contenders in NCAA Division III at 200 and 400 meters in both indoor and outdoor track this season, talked about a piece of her truth, and some people didn't like it. On Monday, she came out with a video talking about her adventures in the transfer portal as she was looking for opportunities in Division I. How much resistance she got? Let's take a look.
My name is Sadie Schreiner. I'm a trans athlete in the NCAA, one of 10, and I'm a two-time All-American. I wanted to take this time to talk about my experience trying to transfer into Division I. After entering the transfer portal, it quickly became clear that I'm on all the hurdles transfers usually have. There is an extra layer because I was trans. 50% of the country banned me from participating, and that meant that I couldn't attend any of those colleges, even if they reached out to me with full rides. It also became clear that in the states that did, no matter how adamant the coaches were to have me on their teams, the college administrations would usually stop them from allowing me to participate. So I took the time to document all of it. Trans people are actively getting attacked right now, and our rights are getting stripped away. And those in power are either endorsing this, or they're just letting it happen. But we're not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. And I'm sure come this January, you'll see me again competing on the track.
Shriner's discussed her future ambitions on this forum. In our interview with her in May, she talked about wanting to take a shot at the Olympics sometime in the next 8 years, and that perhaps making this move can be a pathway to it. Now, let's take a look at the chart she showed in her video, because it's going to tell a very interesting tale of its own. 42 Division I schools that she either contacted or they contacted her. 24 of those she sent emails to. 11 of those responded back positively. Now, 18 schools saw her name in the transfer portal, looked up her times, looked up her stats, and they said, Ms. Schreiner, we got our eye on you, let's talk. Then here's where it gets real interesting and perhaps a little bit funky. 3 schools offered her full ride scholarship. Now that's interesting. In these times of NCAA roster caps and less money to go around supposedly, unless you play football or basketball, such things are relatively unheard of. If someone's offering you money, it means you've done something right. And as we saw last season, Sadie Schreiner's done a lot right. Now, 17 schools had to tap out of the process entirely because those schools are in one of the 26 states where transgender women and girls competing with cisgender women and girls in athletics is against the law. So those schools had to be out of it. Now, there were 10 schools where we're in states where trans people aren't criminalized. The coaches liked Sadie, they liked what she could bring to the table, but then when they got floated up the chain of command of the school's administration, somebody looked at the specter of Riley Gaines showing up on their campus and said, no, sorry, we can't help you on this one. Now, there's precedence for that. In a number of articles during the whole debacle over the San Jose State volleyball crisis, a number of athletic departments and school administrators from a number of colleges all basically said the same thing. We just don't have the infrastructure to deal with this. We don't have a playbook for this. We don't know what to do. And one of the people that have heard these things at length is Dr. Jen Fry. Now, Jen Fry, another friend of the show, noted equity consultant to colleges on college athletics. She says that those concerns are very real ones. Let's say a school calls you based on this.
Okay.
And they say, Dr. Jen, we don't want this situation at our school. What do we put in place?
Oh my God. I mean, you're asking for like a semester, years of like policy to put in there. And I think like the thing you're asking, it's not black and white. It depends on the state. If it's Oklahoma asking me versus California versus Florida versus New York, like is it private? Is it public? Is it religious? Like there's so many nuances to it. It would be, I couldn't give you an answer because there's so many different layers to it.
No matter where Schreiner ends up, she says she's going to compete. And we at Transposition Sports are going to follow her story all the way to nationals, no matter what uniform she's in. And by the way, congratulations, Sadie Schreiner. You're a member of the 2024 All-Carly team, alongside Valentina Petrillo, who in fact is one of our honorary captains, along with Nikki Hilt. You couldn't keep them off the team. You couldn't keep them off the team. And also alongside our honorary cis captain, Caitlin Clark, Alona Maher, and Travis Hunter. Other people made it include, Merrick McHenry. He had to make it. Chuck Aoki from U.S. Wheelchair Rugby. I mean, have you seen his social media presence? That guy is fire. I love him. And I think you will too. Wendy Miller, softball player extraordinaire. You've made the All-Carly team. Also, the entire Connecticut Ambush team. Thank you for letting me be a part of it last year. I'm looking forward to having more fun with you all this season as well. And there's a couple high school kids. Aiden Gallagher from Oregon, Veronica Garcia from Washington, both trans girls who are fast, took a lot of heat, won state champions, kept their chins up. Congratulations. And the honorary coaching staff of the All-Carly team, Anthony Nicodemo and the Angry Gay Grandpa. The last selection, Angry Gay Grandpa, why is he on the team? Check this out, and grab a tissue.
So maybe I'll start a little bit softer. This little light of mine.
Dad?
Before you say anything, I just want to apologize for what I said this morning. I've been doing a lot of thinking. If you want to change your name, if you want to wear a dress.
It's a skirt, Dad.
Skirt? I don't know the kind of support you need, but let's get you some for all this transgender stuff.
Wait. Are you serious? Dad, what is this?
Oh, this is me supporting you. This is me saying I love you. This is me not losing you.
Love you, Dad.
Love you. Holly.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
As we head into this new year, I want to talk not about resolutions, but of a manifesto. And two names come up when I think about this. I think about Aiden Gallagher and what she went through as a high school kid getting booed, and Veronica Garcia for going through the same thing. Last week on Transposition Sports, we talked about another piece of the fallout from Garcia, who's now a senior at East Valley High School, Spokane, Washington, for her winning a state championship. And now that fallout has come in the form of a group of districts who now want to put up a Veronica Garcia rule. There's two proposals going up to the WIAA to be looked at and possibly voted on in the first part of 2025. One calls for a total ban on transgender girls in girls' high school sports. And there's another proposal that calls for an open category. Now, they haven't defined what this looks like. Some people reported it to be, oh, they're going to give the trans kids their own division. That's not going to happen, I can tell you that right now. What most likely it's going to be is a de facto boys division. But one of the architects of this proposal says it's about dignity.
We want our transgender student athletes in relationship and community. We also want opportunities for our female athletes.
Now, the man you just saw in the video is the superintendent at Linden High Schools. Now, we also went through this last week. Remember, Linden finished third in the Class 2A girls overall standings in state track last year. Cedar Crest finished second, and their head coach is currently allowing himself to be quoted at length by the Independent Women's Forum, an anti-LGBTQ advocacy group of conservatives. So, really, I think it's accurate to call this a Veronica Garcia rule. Oh, by the way, what does Veronica have to say about it? Let's take a look.
Yeah, what they want to instead do is target children, like literal children. Like, it's like, why do grown-out adults think it's okay to harass a child, let alone a transgender child? Like, why would you ever do that? Already transgender youth are feeling unwelcome in sports. You know, the point of high school teams to feel like you belong to something, and stuff like this is going to really negatively impact the mental health of transgender people.
As I see this story play out, and Aiden Gallagher's story play out, and seeing what Sadie Schreiner talked about earlier, it leads me to the manifesto for 2025. We at Transposition Sports are going to continue to do what we've done this year and do it even more, which is give you the untold stories from our perspectives and give you a conduit to the voices that aren't heard in a lot of media on these issues. Personally, I'm sick and tired of having mainstream media outlets talk about this issue and other trans issues and talk to no trans people. That's why I'm glad to give voice to those who aren't heard and need to be heard, because these policy decisions, these changes, these disputes affect them directly. But one thing we're not going to do in 2025 is center the debate so much. Instead, we're going to do more to center the voices and center the joy. Because frankly, I'm tired of the debate. I'm tired of hearing about fairness from people who are not centering anyone's fairness, but centering their own discomfort and calling it fairness. You know what I'm talking about. Think about it. It's the Frankie De La Creta question. Fairness for whom? Whose fairness is centered in this moment? It's certainly not mine. It's not Haley Davidson's. It's not Sadie Schreiner's. It's not Pat Manuel's. It's not the fairness for Aiden Gallagher or any other trans kid in any high school in this country right now, no matter if the state turned blue or turned red at the last election. I want to know where Sadie Schreiner's fairness is. Where's the fairness in the fact that Sadie Schreiner's told, we're interested in you, but we're not going to fight for you, so we can't have you as a part of our school? Where's the fairness in that? Seriously. Where's the fairness in the fact that a school is openly saying, we're more afraid of Riley Gaines than we are excited for you to come to our school? Where's the fairness in that? And it is in every school. When Cece Telfer were making her run, Franklin Pierce University were putting contingency plans in place to keep her safe. Remember Megan Cortez, swimmer at Ramapo College, New Jersey, when all the professional trans folks were trying to come at her over a school record? I got to give Ramapo College some credit. They didn't wait, hem and haw, and make a statement 2 months after the fact. They made a statement at the point of attack and said, We're following NCAA regulations. We back our kid. She's eligible. She's our student athlete. Leave her alone. I respect that. It's a far cry from the way the University of Pennsylvania and the Ivy League and the NCAA left Leah Thomas twisting in the wind. I haven't forgotten, and neither should anyone else. And I don't want to hear that word safety either, because I already know my safety sure the hell isn't centered in this. In fact, there's a number of people who have threatened, for example, to come down to the stands and pummel Veronica Garcia or get violent with Aiden Gallagher. The threats were so heavy that Aiden Gallagher needed bodyguards with her when she was at state last year to go accept the medal she earned. They had to tell her, no, you get off the track immediately. We're going to guard you because the crowd got so hostile. Remember, she got booed. And yes, we have receipts on this. Sadie Schreiner at Indoor Nationals last year was being heckled by people yelling and calling her a man. You don't believe me? Roll the tape.
He's a man! That's a man! That's a man cheating man!
And you heard it here on our interview with Cece Telfer when Cece talked about when they literally had to stop a race at a national championship because somebody was throwing anti-trans slurs at her from the stands.
For my indoor national championship, my first one, I was on the line and they had to stop the race because a parent said something out in the audience before the gun went off, and I was right next to the stands. That had no railing, that had no boundaries or anything. That parents could have done they had to stop the race and tell the girls to stand up, and then they had to address that parent in front of us, and then tell us to get back into the starting blocks and then go run the race. Or go execute the race. You kidding me? Are you kidding me? My life was threatened 5 seconds ago and you want me to finish this race?
Don't give me this about safety. There are some people that hate trans people so much that they have a fantasy of taking a bunch of trans women who play sports, plop them down in the middle of some Roman Colosseum from Antiquity, have a full stance full of people giving them thumbs down, and then sending out some very violent cisgender men to go pummel them senseless. And there are people that actually think about that, and they verbalize that, and they put it out there in the universe.
The NCAA is a perverted organization. They platformed a biological male who won a national championship and then was allowed in incredibly disturbing detail to be around you and your fellow competitors. And again, I blame the decline of American men. This never should have been, someone should have just took care of it the way we used to take care of things in the 1950s or 60s.
So I don't want to hear about safety because I know whose safety is centered in that moment. So no, I'm not going to center the debate. And I'm not going to give in to the cries of people who are acting and speaking in bad faith, telling me you've got to look at both sides. What both sides is there of Pat Manuel hitting you with a good right cross? There's no both sides of that. He throws a good punch, you're on the canvas. There's no both sides to that. There's no debate about that. There's no debate about Sadie Schreiner powering down the final straight after pushing for 300 meters and propelling herself to a win. That happens. That's the facts. There's no both sides to that. So don't come at me about both sides, about just someone being good and playing in their sport. Because we already know what side that you want centered. And it isn't the side of anyone who's trans. Plus, there's plenty of outlets that let you have your side, whatever that means to you. There's plenty of outlets that platform professional transphobia. This one will not. I'd rather platform the joy. Like Ember, I like giving the good news. So we're going to keep giving the good news and keep telling the untold and keep giving voice to those whose voices aren't heard and presenting them to you. I've been proud to do it for 5 years at Outsports. I've been proud to do it for this last near year here at Transposition Sports. And I'm going to keep doing it happily with a big smile on my face for many years to come. Also, a quick note to our athletes, or rather a quick note to our allies. You know something? Let's stop saying trans athletes when we know we mean trans women and girls. You know what? If we're talking about trans women and girls, it's okay to say those words together. Stop misgendering trans people, please. And while we're at it, can we stop erasing trans men in this discourse? Let's talk about them. There are trans men who play sports. In fact, the majority of high school athletes who are trans in this country are transgender boys. But we don't want to talk about that because it doesn't sell the narrative. So let's quit trying to fight on the narrative and let's just spread the joy. Let's give voice to the voiceless. Also, one more thing. If a person refers to a transgender woman as a biological male or a transgender man as a biological female, understand that that person's a transphobe, and please let's start treating them as such. I'd appreciate it, and so would a lot of others. And the last note to fellow trans people out in the world, especially those who love sports and who play sports. Yeah, I know. You're scared. I'm scared too. Only a fool wouldn't be scared in these times. With the rhetoric and the rancor that we're hearing, our heads are on a swivel even more. But understand, as Sadie said in her video, we're still here, we're still going to be here, and we're still going to hit the field and play hard. Understand, we're all we got, but you know something? We're all we need. Happy New Year, everyone. For Transposition Sports, I'm Carly Chardonnay Webb.